After several apocalyptic wars, humanity left Earth behind and formed new governments in the stars. By 2801 CE, humanity became unified under one governing body called the Galactic Federation. This government was founded on democratic principles and ushered in a new era called the Golden Age of Humanity. Throughout the years, the Galactic Federation faced challenges such as drinking, violence, crime, drugs, and pirates. It seemed pandemonium broke out in the Galactic Federation. However, a young man who graduated Space Army Officers School, head of his class, was none other than Rudolf von Goldenbaum. He was called the second coming of Admiral Wood due to his victories over space pirates and ruthlessly eradicated them. Even the criticisms for Goldenbaum were deafened by the high praises from the citizens of the Galactic Federation. With high praise, Rudolf von Goldenbaum decided to take his talents and entered the political stage. Eventually, he was elected to the position of Prime Minister of the Galactic Federation while simultaneously holding on to other political offices. By the year UC 310, he founded the Galactic Empire and proclaimed himself as Emperor, making him the most powerful figure in humanity's history. As he ascended to the throne, a universal monarchy was established and governed 400 billion people. With the dawn of a new empire came new reforms, the first being a change in the calendar, which was originally Universal Calendar Era, now became known as the Imperial Calendar. Under Rudolf's leadership, he enforced discipline on public officials, unhealthy lifestyles were banned, and crime decreased sharply. By Imperial Calendar Year 9, Emperor Rudolf passed a new law called the Inferior Genes Exclusion Act. He saw both handicapped and impoverished citizens as a detriment to humanity. With Emperor Rudolf von Goldenbaum's firm grasp on the citizens of the empire, few citizens protested the regime and were met with brute force. As the democratic principles of the former Galactic Federation were dissolved, in its stead was a totalitarian government with monarchical characteristics. One esteemed figure had an idea to leave the Galactic Empire and migrate across the stars to find a new home located in the Gulf of Sagittarius, building a government based on democratic principles. This figure became known as Ade Heinesen, a man who would become the iconic figure of the newly named government, the Free Planets Alliance. By the year UC 640, the Free Planets Alliance and the Galactic Empire engaged for the first time, and the Free Planets Alliance emerged as the victor. This was the beginning of a long, brutal, and costly war conducted across the stars. Most of the intense fighting occurred in the Iserlorn corridor as it became a crucial area of space due to it being one of the only corridors viable for space travel. In the Battle of Astarte, two titans who ascend the ranks of the militaries, one of them being Yan Wen Li, the hero of Alpha-Sil, and Reinhard von Lohengram, the Golden Lion. Throughout the Battle of Astarte, the Galactic Empire's navy seemed invulnerable, gaining the upper hand early in the battle and destroying 2 out of the 3 fleets. However, Commodore Yan Wen Li took command of the remaining Free Planet Alliance fleets and was able to turn the tide of battle as it concluded to a draw. Both sides recovered their losses and decided on new plans. Carrie Heiss and Reinhard knew each other as kids and established a close friendship, but when Emperor Friedrich IV had proposed to marry Reinhard's sister, Anna Rose, her life changed. This sowed the seeds for the young lion, promising Carrie Heiss on his plans to usurp the imperial throne, free his sister, and conquer the universe. Nobles of the Galactic Empire were always jockeying for power and seeking to either challenge the throne or improve their standing. Reinhard saw the nobles as nothing more than people of privilege and greed in an old, decaying system. A couple of nobles sought to append the system to their liking, one being the relentless Maximilian and the other Klopstock. When Carrie Heiss negotiated with members of Maximilian's fleet, they were offered terms of surrender and would be treated well. They turned on their leader Maximilian, killing him in the process. As for Klopstock, he ended up killing himself in the process due to his failed assassination attempt on Emperor Friedrich IV. After the Battle of Astarte, The Free Planet Alliance seized an opportunity to occupy Iserlorn Fortress in a bloodless battle, thus it became a victory for the Free Planet's Alliance Navy. As if this victory wasn't enough for the High Council on Heinessen, a vast military force consisting of 30 million personnel and 200,000 ships invaded the Galactic Empire. To counter this force, the newly promoted Fleet Admiral Reinhard implemented a scorched earth plan to prevent any food or resources from falling into the hands of the Free Planet Alliance. As Fleet Admiral Lohengram withdrew his forces from the frontier systems, he used this opportunity to strike in the rear areas and attack supply ships. Following the loss of supply ships, the Free Planet Alliance could no longer sustain their military campaign against the Galactic Empire. This granted the opportunity for the Golden Lion to send his admirals to counterattack the numerous fleets of the Free Planet's Alliance Navy. One by one, the fleets of the Free Planet Alliance Navy were caught off guard as the Golden Lion's fleets pursued numerous engagements across the stars. Orders from Fleet Admiral Lobos were to regroup at the Amritza star system and counterattack the Empire's forces. Fleet Admiral Lohengram's forces were attempting to encircle the Free Planet's Alliance to finish off the expeditionary fleets in a final strike, but his forces failed to eliminate the remaining ships of the Free Planet Alliance Navy. As Vice Admiral Yang was able to exploit the hole in between the fleets, using it as an escape route for the remaining expeditionary forces. A disappointed Reinhard returned to the capital world named Odin, being notified of Emperor Friedrich IV's death. Since the Emperor did not name a successor, Fleet Admiral Lohengram decided to take upon himself to choose who would take the throne, backing a descendant of the Emperor, a grandchild by the name of Erwin Joseph II. With the coronation of the new Emperor, Fleet Admiral Lohengram was promoted to Commander-in-Chief of the Imperial Space Fleet and ascended from title of Count to Marquis. Nobles such as Otto von Braunschweig and Littenheim disapproved of the decision of the young grandchild to ascend the throne. As an act of vengeance, both Braunschweig and Littenheim formed an alliance, mustered their military forces, and ushered a new civil war in the Galactic Empire. A mysterious leader of the Phazzan Dominion seeks to make Phezzan the dominant financial power in the universe and has ties to a religious organization known as the Church of Terra. Phezzan supplies financial backing to both sides in the war while profiting from it. This mysterious leader stays in the shadows, plotting his next move on what to do about the two government entities. Due to the civil war within the Galactic Empire, Fleet Admiral Lohengram was concerned about the Free Planet Alliance using this opportunity to attack again. A plan was devised by sending a Free Planet Alliance prisoner of war to overthrow the current government and establish a new one in Heinessen. The Lippstadt Coalition was formed as a counter to the newly appointed Emperor and transformed itself as a military organization. This force consisted of thousands of nobles with a grand total of 25 million personnel. However, the coalition made Geisberg Fortress their headquarters and base of operations. Throughout the war, the coalition lost several key figures in their leadership structure, one of them being an admiral known for his prowess in combat. This figure was known as Admiral Officer. Due to Otto von Braunschweig distrusting Admiral Officer, he had the admiral executed due to suspicion upon returning from a previous battle as the sole survivor. Another important figure was Count Littenheim, who was assassinated by one of his own men due to the Count fleeing the battlefield. On a planet named Wasteland, a peasant uprising occurred as a consequence of being ruled by tyrannical nobles and dukes. Braunschweig's nephew was put in charge of the planet since his uncle was leading the coalition, but he was killed during the peasant uprising. Rage consumed Braunschweig, and as an act of vengeance, he launched nuclear weapons on Wasteland. This attack was shown to the citizens of the Galactic Empire, as some were horrified of the atrocities, while others were consumed with rage. A last stand was made by the Lippstadt Coalition at Geisberg Fortress in an attempt to defeat Fleet Admiral Lohengram's forces, but the coalition met its demise when Duke Braunschweig was poisoned. It seems this became the closing chapter of the Goldenbaum nobility, as this was the foundation for a new dynasty. Ansbach, a staff member of Duke Braunschweig, attempted to assassinate Fleet Admiral Lohengram, but in the process failed killing Carihais. With the loss of Carihais, the Golden Lion withdrew from his duties, leaving his staff pondering on their next move. Oberstein decided to arrest the current Prime Minister while granting the position of the political office to Fleet Admiral Lohengram. With the burial of Carihais, the Golden Lion's friend was granted many titles, being the only one who could be second in command to Fleet Admiral Lohengram. The Fleet Admiral's expansion of both military and political power was a feat only seen since the days of Rudolf von Goldenbaum, and a new wave of political reforms were implemented. Not everyone in the Galactic Empire was in favor of reforms, as some expressed a return to the old system. Reforms for the Galactic Empire consisted of confiscation of nobles' assets, fair tax amendments, giving land back to the farmers, freedom of speech, banned books or papers were published, and fair tax policies. Citizens of the Galactic Empire saw an opportunity to establish their own political parties. One party was established by two nobles who renounced their titles and laid the foundation of the newly formed Enlightenment Party. The Enlightenment Party was established to solve the financial crisis and war debt the Empire incurred. Fleet Admiral Lohengram approved their plan and requested them to draft policies for socio-economic rehabilitation. Some analyzed the Galactic Empire as a new breed of liberal imperialism, while others saw it as pristine dictatorship. New figures were promoted and added to Fleet Admiral Lohengram's cabinet, such as Hildegard von Mariendorf, who became secretary for the Prime Minister. To save money, Fleet Admiral Lohengram sought to close a handful of buildings on New Sanssouci's grounds while reducing the staff. Questions arose as to what to do with the boy emperor, but Fleet Admiral Lohengram sought to keep the boy in his position and was not ready to usurp the throne. In an operation to retake Iserlorn Fortress as a proposition from the head of the Imperial Science Division, Anton Hilmer von Schaft created a plan to use Geisberg Fortress for this operation. Admiral Kampf was assigned to oversee construction of the warp drives in addition to leading the operation. Since Geisberg Fortress became operational and ready for warp, Fleet Admiral Lohengram commenced the operation. In the early stages of the battle, Admiral Kampf had ordered the firing of the main armament of Geisberg Fortress, as well as Admiral Yang ordering the main armament of Iserlorn Fortress. It was a fight between two titans punching each other back and forth. Once the firing was halted, the Imperial fleet disabled several defenses of Iserlorn Fortress while attempting to board and capture Admiral Yang Wanli. Due to heavy losses sustained, the armored grenadier forces retreated from Iserlorn Fortress as Admiral Yang's forces inflicted heavy casualties on both ground forces as well as the escort fleet. After many attempts to bring the fortress under Imperial control, Admiral Kampf piloted the Geisberg Fortress to smash into Iserlorn. During the process, his attempt ended up costing him his life, leaving behind his wife and two children. Due to his sacrifice and paying the ultimate price, Kampf was promoted to High Admiral. In the aftermath of the Imperial Navy's attack on Iserlorn Fortress, Anton Hilmer von Schaft was executed for charges consisting of corruption, as well as leaking secrets to the Phazzan Dominion. A handful of nobles who reminisce the days of the old regime agreed to work with the Dominion Phezzan to kidnap the current emperor and set up a new government in Free Planet's alliance. Two men were recruited for this mission, one being a noble named Alfred von Landsberg, who played a role in the Lippstadt Pact, and the other who was a staff officer for Baron Flegel named Leopold Schumacher. Fleet Admiral Lohengram was aware of their plan and requested a meeting with the Commissioner of Phezzan. Throughout the meeting, the Golden Lion leveraged his empire's position to have military access in Phezzan's corridor. Prior to the meeting, both government entities abided by an agreement prohibiting military vessels at the Phezzan corridor. At the conclusion of the meeting, Phezzan's Commissioner Nicholas Boltic accepts Fleet Admiral Lohengram's demands on military access in Phezzan's corridor. In exchange for military access, Fleet Admiral Lohengram will allow the kidnapping of the Emperor. Both Landsberg and Schumacher were successful in kidnapping the boy Emperor, due to the lack of guards placed around the palace in addition to the Free Planet's alliance granting them asylum. In an announcement speech made by Chairman Trunick, he informed his populace they were harboring Emperor Erwin Joseph II from the Galactic Empire. With this announcement came the declaration of the legitimate Galactic Empire government from High Noble Count Reimscheid and the formation of his cabinet. Citizens of the Galactic Empire became alarmed with the announcement of this new government due to being traumatized by the previous civil war. Fleet Admiral Lohengram gave a speech decrying the legitimate Galactic Empire government, calling them cowards, as well as planning to hold the nobles responsible for the kidnapping of the Emperor. Due to the kidnapping of the Emperor, Fleet Admiral Lohengram replaced the vacant position with an infant girl. The baby was coronated as Empress Catherine Kachin, becoming the youngest monarch of the Goldenbaum dynasty. To launch a crusade against the Free Planet's alliance, a call was put out to mobilize 100 million personnel and 1 million ships. Men and veterans answered the call for the final fight against the Free Planet's alliance. As the Imperial Navy's ranks swelled, it was ready to launch the largest military campaign in humanity's history. The Fleet Admiral named the campaign Operation Ragnarok, as many of his officers felt a chill down their spine knowing this would be the final battle between the two colossal entities. High Admiral Mittermeier's fleet was the first to enter Phezzan's corridor, becoming the first Imperial ships to enter the Dominion. Mittermeier's fleet ignored calls from Phezzan's spaceport, landing numerous ships on the surface and seizing the planet in 4 days. At first, citizens of Phezzan panicked, but the days following Mittermeier's occupation, trading and commerce continued as usual. To create a diversion, Reuenthal's fleet entered the Iserlorn corridor in an attempt to keep Admiral Yang's forces preoccupied. After Mittermeier's occupation, Fleet Admiral Lohengrin arrived in Phezzan, requesting reports and updates on Imperial forces. The Fleet Admiral was informed about the attempt to recover data at the Free Planet Alliance Commissioner's office, but it was erased, and the leader of Phezzan was nowhere to be found. The Imperial Armed Forces were vast in size. It comprises of the Imperial Navy, Imperial Ground Forces, and Imperial Military Police. The Galactic Empire's Navy is a power-projecting force used for ship-on-ship combat, as well as performing other duties such as escorting troops across different regions of space. The Imperial Navy consisted of various ship classes such as battleships, cruisers, destroyers, staff officer flagships, and many support ships. Each of the staff officers' flagships consisted of special armaments and a custom design tailored to embody staff officers themselves. To support the various ships, the Imperial Navy has an air arm consisting of fighters named Valkyrie. These fighters engage in dogfights against the Free Planet Alliance fighters as well as their ships. Imperial ground forces consisted of conventional forces and equipment comprising of armored grenadiers, tanks, military police, and infantry troops. As the Golden Lion reviewed his troops on Phezzan's parade ground, soldiers of the Galactic Empire seek to usher in a new empire as they chant the words, Sieg Kaiser! Mein Kaiser! Sieg Kaiser Reinhard Lohengrin! Thank you for watching the video. Ares Academy offers opportunities to learn about anime, video games, and other fictional worlds. Subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell to stay tuned for future updates.